Hi there, Bo Schultz from Denmark. I have a special interest in an odd mineral. It's a mineral which is actually not itself because it has taken shape. Originally Ikaite, now we call it Glendonite as a common name, early on better known as pseudoglycite. This collection I've amassed over 20 years with a lot of help, and now I've received funds, so now I'm going to try to unravel a bit more about the enigma. Now, Ikaite. Ikaite is named after the Ika fjord, where you can go on the internet and see beautiful pictures, but it doesn't just form in a fjord. It also forms in sediment, where it makes beautiful orange crystals. We found them in the deep sea, but alas, it is unstable, so it rapidly changed from calcium carbonate hexahydrate into calcium carbonate. And all of these odd things, the masters of mineralogy, people like Dana, like Victor Goldschmidt, Hintze, they have looked at it and deemed that they are all very odd, but odd in the same way, so we put them in the same basket. That's the basket which we nowadays call Glendonite. And our special interest, of course, is that here in Denmark, at the Fossil and Mowclay Museum and our museum on Fur, we have the world's largest and best preserved Glendonite ever. Even though it's an enigma, why do we find these, as our sediment is early Eocene, where it should be hothouse, we have a cold indicator, because this is what Glendonite does. It indicates that we have sequences of cooling, and therefore it's interesting because it links to climate. But to be able to be a good detective, you have to prove your case. Nicolas Gusson, Barbara Theisig, Francesca Nenning from University of Münster have been working on the chemistry, and I'll be going into the shapes. Because the chemistry and the petrology actually link all these oddities together. You may best know the oddities, the Glendonites, from Olenitsa village in Kola Peninsula. We have some 90 samples. I can see that they're post-glacial. I can see that they have their own little story, and I'll try to unravel it. The same with the ones from the Varden Mare. And of course, I wouldn't be able to get closer if I didn't have these very fine samples from Jens Greiner, George Kennedy, which were actually originally Ikaite. So that ties the petrology. Now I have to tie the shapes. People like Dana Morong, Don Hattie, local collectors from Bay of Fundy, has sent me these nice samples, so now we know it's probably a tidal lagoon or tidal pool, probably like Point Barrow is today. From the State Museum in Denmark I borrowed these very nice pieces. They're historic, they're from the River Clyde, and now I have to see what is the common feature between these shapes and these ones and the ones from Japan, where they call them hammerstones, Genuishi. That takes us directly to Oligocene America, where local collector Leo Scaripelli has sent me this variety. We call it pyramide because of the shape. It looks like small pyramids. And this is probably what's going to link the shape of Ikaite monoclinic M2 class into Glendonite. Also quite important, the pieces from John Cornish, and Terry also gave me some very fine pieces from that site. I've been buying, so mineral dealers like David Joyce and Roger Lang have supplied me some new sites, so we now also have from Newfoundland, from Alaska, and of course our own mega Glendonite. But even more important, local collector here in Denmark, Paul Søby Nielsen and Ulla, they have amassed a huge collection of nearly 5,000 samples from Danish Oligocene. So it's really going to be interesting to see what is the spread of the shapes here, because all of the shapes are here. If you just collect long time enough, have patience, at one time or another, all of these will have the same features, but some are dominant, some are not. If we go further back in time, a lot have been written about Glendonite, especially from Cretaceous. And of course you would know if you go to Cretaceous Australia, they can be quite expensive if they are preserved in opal. But there are also pieces that are preserved as calcium carbonate, and they have a very nice story which is being told, so you can find good articles on that. Also the Permian ones from Australia, where when I started my project, Paul Carr from University of Wollongong sent me some nice samples, but they have, as you can see, multiplied, and also got some from Tasmania. And as a very fine thing, one of the oldest we probably know, which is calcium carbonate, came from Argentina, from Professor Gonzalez. And I kind of skipped Jurassic, because here we find Barbara Teisiger again. We have the samples from Wolfsburg, but also the original one from Sangerhausen, described in 1826 by Professor Freisleben. From America, Dan Larsen has also given me some samples. I borrowed them, so they'll be going back now when I probably will unravel the enigma of what is it that Ikaite Glendonite would like to tell us about time, about climate, about conditions, more than just being very odd shapes that has their own little historic enigma. Now, if you have pieces that you think could be of my interest, or knows of sites that I'm not really mentioning, you can get into contact with me here in Denmark. I will be reachable on the internet at Fur Museum, and that would be nice if you have something that you thought it would be worthwhile for me to have a look at. So thank you for your time and entertaining you with this, anyway, for me, very intriguing little enigma. The enigma of Glendonite and Ikaite.